Got that nagging rib pain that just doesn't go away? Let's talk about how to fix this today. Rehab, what's going on? It's Dr. Arash here, and today we're going to be talking about that nagging rib pain. Now, there's often a lot of confusion out there about rib pain and rehab techniques regarding this. Before we dive into what can cause rib pain, let's get a better understanding of the ribs and their anatomy. There are 12 pairs of ribs, which can be subcategorized as true, false, and floating ribs. Looking at the ribs anteriorly or from the front, true ribs have a direct attachment to that sternum or that breastbone, and this attachment is called the sternocostal joint. These true ribs are made of ribs 1 through 7. The false ribs indirectly connect with the sternum through what we call the costal cartilage. The false ribs comprise of ribs 8 through 10. Last but not least, the floating ribs don't connect to the sternum at all. They are truly floating. These are ribs 11 and 12. Posteriorly or on the back side, the ribs connect with the mid-back or that thoracic spine via two different joints, the costovertebral joint and the costotransverse joint. These joints in particular are richly innervated with branches of a nerve called the intercostal nerve. The point of this is that the rich innervation is what can create that sensitivity in the region, because it's ultimately those nerves that signal pain to the brain. In all, the ribs are pretty amazing in regards to their attachment and the role that they play in protecting the lung and the vital organs of the body. Let's transition to rib injuries. Rib pain typically can be caused from some sort of trauma, or the rib joints themselves can become irritated from repetitive motion or too much load on the joints from a particular movement, basically saying that you loaded the tissue too much for what it can handle. Sometimes we see this pain present in individuals who progress too quickly into a sport or activity that presents with a lot of repetitive motion through the mid-back. Think swimmers who progress their training volume too quick, or golfers who have a week off and go from playing once a week to once every single day for 7 days straight. The amount of repetitive load in a short amount of time can cause irritation to the joint space in the front of the rib cage or the back where the ribs meet the thoracic spine. So what can be done for rib pain? In many ways, rib pain is self-limiting, meaning that it will likely get better on its own with just modifying the amount of aggravating movements for your rib. If you're doing a lot of breaststrokes in the pool, try decreasing your swimming volume or modifying the movement entirely and try potentially riding a bike instead. With that being said, we know that introducing healthy motion to an area within tolerance can also be a win. Try exercises that focus on mobility throughout the thoracic spine, such as thread the needle or open books, which can assist in beginning to introduce comfortable movement back into your thoracic spine or mid-back. With exercises like these, we don't have to push past mild levels of discomfort. Typically, we recommend pushing no further than a 3 out of 10 on the pain scale. If dealing with more posterior rib pain, it's worth exploring what motions feel good and then leaning into that particular movement pattern. We recommend starting with a thoracic spine screen where you're assessing thoracic spine flexion, extension, side bend left, side bend right, rotation left, and rotation right. As you perform each movement, take note of how each direction feels. If there is one direction that seems to feel better than the other, leaning into that movement pattern is a good place to start. For instance, if performing thoracic spine flexion helped to alleviate my symptoms, starting with the thoracic spine cat-cow as demonstrated here would be a beneficial exercise to perform, focusing on that thoracic spine flexion or cat-based motion. On the contrary, if thoracic extension helps to alleviate that posterior rib pain, performing a thoracic extension-based exercise as demonstrated here will be more beneficial. Find what works for you and your body and lean into that during the acute phase of rib pain. As the pain subsides, you can start exploring what once were those more aggravating movement patterns. Eventually, the goal is to build up tolerance at that joint to return to your previous activity without rib pain or irritation. Rib pain can be frustrating, but understanding the principles of what is causing the pain and taking steps to modify, improve motion, and then progressively load the joint and surrounding tissues is key to get your body back on path. Thanks for tuning in and hope this helped with your rib pain.
Hey, did you like this video? If you did, you should definitely check out the Prehab app. It includes all of our programs, a brand new workout library, and tons more videos like the one you saw today. Check it out by clicking on this link. You get a free trial. Take control of your health today.